cabinet secretaries. It's the very first. We've been doing this, but mostly for the technical staff. But this is the first time that our cabinet secretaries are present. What we did today is a budget execution workshop. We discussed the guiding principles on budget execution. We discussed the veto message of the President, one by one po yan. And the guidelines for the budget execution, the e-marketplace and the new Government Procurement Act. This will be on Monday. We will discuss the budget call naman po for our 2026 national budget.
Thank you, Sec. Mina. Secretary Balisacan.
Yeah, thank you. The exercise that we performed this morning and to continue on Monday is very critical. It comes at the back of a report that we made to the cabinet and to the president yesterday on the performance of the Philippine economy last year. And we took stock of those the lessons learned from that experience, and we are building that in the fiscal programming for this year, so the exercise that we are doing today in relation to the budget process is critical to ensuring that our economic momentum is continued. The socio-economic transformation that we want to achieve will be achieved, and help us achieve all the indicators of socio-economic transformation that that the President has committed to deliver at the end of his administration, and that those are indicators present in the Philippine Development Plan.
Thank you, Secretary Balisacan. Secretary Chu Laurel.
Well, this event is very welcome to me, especially ako isa sa pinakabago sa kabinete and bago sa mga gobyerno. Maraming nalinawan ko maigi ang paano mag-procure with the new system, dahil nag-crossover ko from the old system to the new system in just less than 6 months, no? So while still trying to learn the old system, it's very welcome, and I believe this event will make the DA perform faster and better for our farmers and fisher folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Chu Laurel. We're now opening the floors for questions. Maricel Halili, News 5.
Magandang umaga po. Secretary Amina, pakilinaw lang po yung naging pahayag ni Representative Ungab na merong mga blank items doon sa BICAM report. Sino po yung nag-fill in nitong mga blanks na ito bago siya na submit bilang endorsed bill?
Kayo na rin po nagsabi, it's the BICAM report po. So, may technical working group po yan from the House of Representatives and the Senate of the Philippines. So, siguro, we can just go back a little lang on the budget process or the legislative process. Siguro I can share a little bit because I came from the Senate po. I was a young staffer from back then. So, pag napasa na po yung batas from the Senate and the House, magbabaycam sila. So, ang i-report po sa floor at ang i-ratify ng floor, yung mga napagkasunduan nung dalawang houses. Kasi minsan po, magkaiba ang version nila. So, ang i-report po nung chairman ng appropriation at saka chairman ng finance na ipapasa nung dalawa yung agreements nila doon sa mga provisions ng pinasa nilang bill. So yun po yung BICAM. Pagkatapos po yun na-ratify, babalik po sila sa kanilang mga technical staff, and then they will write it again. Lilinisin po nila. Kasi kung makikita nyo po, ang pinapasa lang po nila sa floor pag nag-ratify sila, even not just the budget po, pati yung mga ibang mga bills, manipis lang po yan. Yun lang pong mga napagkasunduan nila. And then all the rest, wala pa po yan. So babalik po sila sa technical working group nila, sa mga staff nila, isusulat nila na maayos, and then magkakaroon po ng enrolled bill, enrolled version. Yung enrolled version po, yun po yung pinapasa sa Office of the President na pirmado po ng Speaker of the House at saka yung officer po niya, Senate at saka yung SecGens po nila. So yun po yung makakarating sa Office of the President. So yung sinasabi po nila na blanco, sila din po ang makakapagpuno nung blanco.
So walang nakarating sa Office of the President na may blank items? Like,
Di po kasi nakakarating sa Office of the President ang ratified, yung nira-ratify nila sa floor. Kasi iba po ang format nung nira-ratify.
and another clarification, Secretary, kasi sabi nga ni Presidente suboptimal yung description niya doon sa 2025 national budget. So nagkaroon ng adjustments like doon sa press conference sa Secretary Remulla, he said na merong mga additional na intelligence funds sa DILG, so kailangan i-transfer doon sa ibang mga programs. How does it work? Paano po yung magiging sistema noon? Paano yung magiging proseso ng pagta-transfer?
Meron po tayong tatlong mechanism on kung paano po natin pwedeng ma-prioritize yung mga programa po na hindi na naisama sa General Appropriations Act. You have to remember that we have the President's budget. Ito po yung ginawa po ng Cabinet together with the President. Ito po yung pinasa natin sa Kongreso. Ito po yung National Expenditure Program or the President's budget. May mga nakalagay po doon is consistent with our Philippine Development Plan, consistent with our socio-economic framework, consistent with the respective roadmaps of the different departments. So, nasa Constitution po na ipapasa po yan ibibigay po yan sa Kongreso, tapos sila po ang magbibigay sa atin ng go signal kung ano po yung gusto nilang ilagay dun sa General Appropriations Act. Ngayon, nung lumabas po siya, of course, nagkaroon po ng mga amendments yung ating mga nasa legislatura. Some of it are not yet first shovel ready and not consistent or hindi po siya priority ng mga department heads and secretary and the administration. So may tatlong mechanism lang po yan na pwede gawin. Hindi po natin pwedeng basta-bastang ibalik yan dahil bawal po sa atin yan. First, kung ano po yung existing na mga programa mo, may mga line items ka dyan, kung hindi mo po siya magagamit or nagkaroon ka ng savings, may different reasons po for savings. Pinabid mo, mas mura yung lumabas nung pinabid mo. Pangalawa, ayaw mo na yung proyekto, ina-abandon mo na, I think hindi mo na siya priority. Yun po, pwede po tayo mag-augment, use of savings and augmentation. Ang process po niyan is that i-request po yan ng ahensya and it goes to the Office of the President for approval. Ang second po is use of unprogrammed appropriations. Of course, yung UA po, there are triggers po na ginagamit dyan para po magkaroon ng, para po magamit natin yung UA. Kailangan po meron tayong excess revenues certified by the Bureau of Treasury. So yun po, augmentation, savings, and UA, and yung last po is yung another fund po, yung use of contingent fund ng ating presidente. Ito po, mga new projects and urgent projects, pwede pong i-requesto ng mga department heads natin. Of course, we will ask for necessary documentation. Again, Office of the President lang din po ang mag-approve ng contingent fund. Yung tatlo lang po yun ang pwede natin gamitin.
Salamat po. Kay ES lang po. Sir, may we have your reaction doon sa sinabi ni Representative Ungab na plano niyang dalhin sa Supreme Court itong usapin ng GAA?
Hindi ko mapipigilan si Congressman Ungab at saka yung mga similarly minded people who would want to put up a challenge. Ang problema natin dyan is hindi kami ang mananagot dyan kung meron mang pagkukulang sa bagay na yan dahil BICAM report yan eh. Wala kaming kinalaman sa BICAM report. Ang may kinalaman lang kami yung finished product na pinapirmahan sa presidente. Hindi yung blank check.
Next question, Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Kay Secretary Pangandaman, meron pong criticisms on the modifications na ginagawa ng OP on the budget. Could you please explain to us yung legal basis po nitong mga adjustments na ito? Kasi like for example, tinatanong po ng ibang mga congressmen, can the President actually declare savings at the start of the year?
Hindi naman po, kasi savings nga po. So, nasan ba yung listahan ko kanina? Meron pong mga specific rules and regulations, may budgeting rules and guidelines po tayong sinusunod. Karamihan po doon ay nakalagay sa General Appropriations Act natin. Hindi ko lang memorize yung mga sections. Baka meron kayo dyan. Ano yung mga sections na kailangan. So yun, we follow that. Hindi po kami pwedeng magbalik. Again, hindi po pwedeng magbalik kami ng mga projects and programs na nawala sa GAA. Kailangan po nandoon siya. And may rules po yung tatlong sinabi kong mechanism. May general provisions po tayo for the use of savings, augmentation, and the use of unprogrammed appropriations, and the use of contingent fund. I can provide po the details and the specific general and specific provisions.
Yes.
Gusto ko lang dagdagan. Mayroong kasing tanong, part of that question was, are there already savings as early as now? Yes, of course, because there are many vacant positions na nagkaroon na ng allocation sa budget. Pero if they are unfilled, January, they become savings for the month until na magkaroon ng occupant of that office. Yung sweldo doon, savings yun, technically speaking. So, yung characterization of those funds na hindi na spent for specific purposes, beginning the year, this will be part of the savings. Only the President may, however, use the savings through his power of augmentation.
Thank you, ES. Next question, Ivan Mayrina, GMA7.
Secretary Balisacan, sir, with the President describing the budget as suboptimal, where does that put us in terms of our ability to achieve our targets for the year, considering that this is the year that we will cross the midpoint of the President's administration?
Okay. Yeah, for this year, we're aiming to achieve 6 to 8% GDP growth, no? And we do believe that the current configuration of the government budget will allow us to focus on critical services, and particularly for social protection, for food security, and for our basic infrastructure, including our flagship projects. Meron naman, gaya ng sinabi kanina, the mechanisms of augmentation can fill up those that were reduced, especially those that are so critical, like the right-of-way requirements, for our major infrastructure projects. But let's note that the government expenditure is just about 15 to 20% of the total economy, so that it's really the private sector that drives the bulk of our economy. But the spending of government is so critical to enabling the entire economy from working efficiently, functioning well, so that we can achieve our targets.
Sorry, Secretary E.S. Bersman, sir, napag-usapan po ba dito sa forum ninyo kung ano ang magiging implication nitong looming legal constitutional challenges sa budget?
Hindi pa namin alam kung ano yung complexion ng mga challenges. Ano? We are just receiving this from the media that there will be challenges. But until we see the actual complexion of all those, whatever challenge may be mounted, it is speculative for us to say or comment on any of them.
Pero ano ho kaya magiging scenario should it come to that, na magkaroon nga po ng legal challenge sa budget and then the Supreme Court steps in and
Wala.
declares it unconstitutional? Paano ho mangyayari sa budget natin?
Wala. Alam mo, the Supreme Court will never stop the budget from being implemented. All right? I cannot understand if the Supreme Court will have that tendency to put a stop to it, even if any of those challengers will ask for a TRO. Because the government must function, must be run. Now, sasabihin nila, fall back on the reenacted budget. But the reenacted budget can come only when there is a finding that it has been vetoed or the Supreme Court has nullified the present budget. But that is yet to be in the end of the year, or maybe when this resolution of these challenges will have been delivered. Okay, but right now, the government must continue to function. There is a duly approved budget, subject to all those that were vetoed, the items. As we have been clearly telling, the effect of the veto is only to reduce the deficit. No? Because that is all that the veto has as a consequence. The realignments will happen only later on in the spending process. Okay.
Sorry, last for me. Secretary Chu Laurel, sir, would you have an update for us on the declaration of food security emergency?
Well, the NPCC has finalized the draft nung Tuesday pa lang, and the document is now umiikot for signature. So na-delay nga, I was expecting it this week. So malamang next week makuha ko na yung signed document on the official recommendation for the declaration of rice emergency.
Thank you.
Next question, Jean.
I-ano ko lang para po, if you get a chance, it's in our website, the General Appropriations Act, Section 77. You will see the meaning of savings. Magkaroon lang po ng savings pag na-release. You also have to consider that under Section 6 in the President's veto message, there are some 757 billion pesos na hindi pa po namin nalalabas na kailangan po mag-issue ng SARO. These are the changes. Ito po yung mga nabago from NEP to GAA. Okay, so Section 77, definition of savings. Section 78, rules on augmentation. Yan po yung mga kailangan nating tingnan. At meron din pong specific guidelines na ini-issue ang DBM on the release of those.
Thank you, Sec. Jean Mangalus, PhilStar.
Hello. Sec Recto said that we're likely not to hit our 2024 GDP target. So, and we also did not hit our 2023 target. Are we still on track to reach the higher end of our target for the term of the president?
We'll know that next week, no? The Philippine Statistics Authority will release the figure, the growth performance for the fourth quarter and the full year 2024. But anticipating that, given the developments in the fourth quarter, no, especially the several typhoons, no, that impacted heavily on our agriculture and also many other industries, because offices were cancelled, suspended many times, no, and so I can imagine the losses across the industries, no? So I would expect the fourth quarter to be not as good as we had expected. So yeah, we may have difficulty achieving the 6% for the full year. But we'll see.
For the 2028, for the whole admin of President Marcos, do we expect na ma-revise ulit yung target?
Well, we do revise the targets as circumstances warrant. No? We do understand that, for example, for this year, the level of uncertainty in the global environment and the global economy is I think heightened. All these possibilities of retaliation, in the case of the events that tariffs are raised in the U.S. And so that would impact on us because we are part of the supply chain, global supply chain. Our exports, we receive remittances. So, but then again, there are as we have been pointing out repeatedly, the good thing about the Philippine economy these days is that almost 3/4 of our growth is coming from within, and it's a very consumption-driven economy, and the service sector is also contribute. Nonetheless, that the trade is an important part of the economy, and we are monitoring that closely, and we are using, of course, our budget to ensure that we can make the economy more resilient to shocks.
Question to Secretary Amena. So some of the most contentious items in the budget came not from the GAB, because if you look at the gap, it's very similar to NEP, medyo malapit siya. But from the BICAM, do you think there needs to be more transparency in the BICAM process? Will the executive branch push for more transparency?
Hindi po kami part ng BICAM. So I cannot answer that. But at least po, for the, well, pag may budget hearings naman and then committee hearings, I think it's all in their respective websites. But on the BICAM, I cannot answer. No, we're not part of it.
Sam Medinilian, Business Mirror.
For Secretary Pangandaman po, after po nag-review yung executive department ng mga budget nung past weeks, how many government agencies have gaps or shortages in their 2025 budgets? At saka how much will the government need to address those shortage, and where will the fund come from to address this?
Hindi pa po kami tapos. We still have a few departments to go next week. Di po ba, ES. So we'll have the final numbers once we finish the review.
Pero so
The source is still the same. Yung sinabi ko pong tatlong mechanism that we will use if ever po na kailangan. Otherwise, we will ask the departments to prioritize those projects for our 2026 budget preparations. Anyway, we have nag-budget call na po kami. So the agencies now are starting to prepare their fiscal year 2026 budget proposals.
sa ngayon, ma'am, ano po yung completion nung review? Mga 50% complete na ba yung review?
Yeah, mga 50%. There's another 50% pa.
May initial figures na kaya? Kung magkano yung parang kailangan na i-fill up dun sa mga government agencies?
Mga 30 billion so far.
Thank you po. Tapos, for Sec Balisacan naman po, sir, na-discuss po kahapon during sa NEDA board meeting yung Philippine Development Plan. So far, meron na po bang na-review yung NEDA kung ano yung mga parts ng PDP, kung saan naglalag yung implementation yung government?
Yeah, we have provided the report to the cabinet and to the president, as I said, the performance of the economy. Of course, as we said earlier, we fall short of the target, but that's understandable, as I said, because of the external and domestic factors that are outside of our control. But nonetheless, the performance of the economy was still quite impressive compared to our neighbors and the entire Asia. No? We still are second, third among the major emerging economies in Asia as top performer. No? Now, of course, my colleague here, Sec Kiko, knows and is very well how the agriculture was hit hard by the typhoons. We expect agriculture to have contracted by 2% at least, I think, in 2024 because of the heavy losses in the fourth quarter and as well as in the third quarter of last year. But we expect to have that speedy recovery in 2025. So that's one. And agriculture is 10% of our GDP and almost a third of our employment. So malaking impact yan. Otherwise, the rest of the economy are doing well. Of course, doing well meaning, in relation to those constraints that I mentioned, but we could have done well if the environment is more favorable.
Aside, sir, from dun sa economic growth, may other aspects pa po ba nung PDP yung kailangan pang i-accelerate ng government para ma-meet yung targets for 2028?
I think that so far what we have outlined in the PDP is rapid growth and a growth that is inclusive. We are succeeding in those two fronts, and the data show us. You can look at recent reports, for example, by the World Bank, showing that the growth of the economy in recent years have been quite inclusive compared to earlier periods in our recent history. But we can do even better and accelerate poverty reduction. Our goal is to achieve single-digit poverty incidence by the end of this administration, and that there will be far less hungry people, and people are more secure with respect to to the exposure to shocks. Natural or man-made shocks, that they have good, high quality. We are doing a good job. We're performing well in relation to improving the quality of jobs. Underemployment has fallen last year to 4. Unemployment has fallen to 4.3% from 4.6% in 2023, for example. With inflation coming down to 3.2%, and for 2025, we expect to see inflation settling to within the government range of 2 to 4%. And with robust labor market, subdued inflation, those two would have powerful influence on the way and the dynamics of poverty, so that we should see poverty continue to decline. Of course, there are certain commodities that remain challenging in terms of the prices, and that's what we are focusing on. Sec Kiko will be here to take care of the rice, of the pork, and so on. No? But I think with the progress that we have been making, we should be able to achieve those in the targets, especially on the poverty front.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, sir. Tuesday New, DZBB.
Good morning po. Kay Secretary Chu Laurel, sir. Sir, concerns po ito ng different farmer organizations and groups. Bakit daw po kaya natatagalan yung declaration o yung issuance ng declaration for food security emergency considering its urgency? Ano raw po ba yung nagpapatagal para mapirmahan ito at maaprubahan dahil baka raw maabutan na noong pag-ani nila, hindi pa na-declare. May sapat na panahon pa raw po ba ang NFA para i-dispose yung kanilang kasalukuyang buffer stock at mabili yung kanilang aanihin?
Well, pati ako medyo namamadali rin, to be honest, and I feel for the farmers. But of course, there's a process that every government agency has to go through. While bago pa pirmahan sa mga head of agency, it has to go through, yung pag-barcode, yung pag-ganun. But it's going around na. But may oras pa naman. But despite the fact na wala pa yung final recommendation sa akin, meron ng plano ang NFA which we will announce next week on the rollout of this NFA rice once we issue the rice emergency. Letter of intents have been issued to a lot of LGUs and OGCCs, to the armed forces and to the PNP para malaman na namin ilan yung gusto nila. No, so it's a matter of rollout na lang. The stocks are there, the stocks are positioned, so it's just a matter of booking the rice and the logistics concerns na lang. But we're ready. We're ready to release the rice and give it to the people that need it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.